Welcome back. Now, Mmule Setati's approach to cooking has won the hearts of her fans, and her innovative recipes have begun to influence the wider culinary landscape, with many adopting her unique approach to food. Well, she started by posting her recipes to Instagram, which resulted in the publication of a cookbook containing some of the most scrumptious dishes. Her cooking style emphasizes flavor, freshness and balance, with an emphasis on getting the most out of each ingredient. Well, Chef Mmule is in studio to tell us more about her culinary journey as well as her book. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Morning. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Good.
I suppose I should say congratulations first on the book.
Thank you
How's
so
that?
much.
Is that like the final, the step, the ultimate step to the...
I think it's the beginning.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the journey. It's the beginning of what's to come.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about this Feed My Tribe.
Yeah, so Feed My Tribe is essentially my love language. So my love language is cooking and it's food. And what brought about Feed My Tribe was, the first seed was my grandmother. So my grandmother loved feeding people. I grew up in the West Rand, Komhlakeng. So
Yes.
Every Sunday we'd gather, we'd eat Sunday lunch with our grandmother, and that's where it sprung, just that feeding of people and using that as a love language. That's where Feed My Tribe started. And then I grew my own tribe, my kids, my immediate family and my friends, and now social media.
Yeah. At what point did you then decide, I'm going to take this seriously and turn it into a career?
Yeah. When COVID hit, I used to run a juice business. So during COVID, I had to close it down. So while I was liquidating, I had to find my what next.
Yes.
And my what next was that. My life coach literally sat me down and said, "You've always loved food. Why don't you explore this and make it a
Yes.
business?" Right? And I was like, food, me. I'll never make money from that. And literally from that time, we had that conversation. 6 months later, I started cooking classes. I sent more recipes online, and then it just became a huge tribe that I had online.
Yeah. And speak to us about that bit where you're seeing the response, because it's always a risk putting your stuff out there and you don't even know how the market is going to respond.
That's very true. So I think when I started, I didn't think that people would respond the way they did. I knew that people loved my recipes, so I just kept sharing. But I think the response was amazing, especially during lockdown. People would send me messages saying, "Oh, you've saved my marriage with your recipes." And I was like, okay, I'm doing something right. If I can save a marriage, that's good for me. So I think the response has been amazing. Just getting people to cook more, to love being in the kitchen, because not a lot of people do. And it's more about putting love into it and not making it a chore.
Yeah. Speak to us about your signature and how long it took you to find who Mmule is in terms of taste, in terms of what you put out there.
I think I knew from the beginning. So from the time I started posting meals, especially during lockdown, I think that's when I found my essence. I was like, okay, well, you guys should know by now how to cook traditional food. So bomogodu and all these things that we are used to, you guys should know by now. Let's explore more. Let's make salads. Let's make cooking beautiful and sexy, and good to look at. So if you look at some of my recipes, they look beautiful. The videos, I make jokes about, making sure that you look good in the kitchen while you're cooking. And that's essentially my essence. It's about exploring everything outside of what we already know from growing up, and picking up on that and eating healthy, a balanced lifestyle, and still bringing your African roots into it.
Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of different meals in here. I mean, I saw a breakfast when I opened, and then there's a quinoa bowl as well. I mean, speak to us about incorporating the different kinds of recipes and, making a wholesome book.
Yeah. So when I went to my publishers, they asked, "What is it that you want to do?" And I was like, I want to represent the modern woman. Right? The modern woman knows how to make, or should know how to make, traditional food. So now let's incorporate a balanced lifestyle. I think moving forward now, we need to look after our health more than anything.
True.
So how do we look after our health, still make it taste good, make it quick, because we are busy, we are women that work, we are women and men that work, that have busy lifestyles. So how do we incorporate easy meals? So I've got like 30-minute meals for kids, friendly meals for moms and dads. I've got date night meals, which I make for you and your lover at home. So those kind of meals, which are fun, which you can do, make together with your kids, with your family, but also keeping a balanced lifestyle. So
What for you has been the biggest lesson that came with this particular project? Putting together a book, putting all your knowledge from your grandmother up until now.
Whew, okay, the biggest lesson for me, I think the book came about. So when my son was 6 months, he had an accident and he fell from the kitchen counter.
Yo.
Right? And he almost died during that time. And we went straight into lockdown 3 months after the accident. And I had to find inspiration somewhere to get me out of the rut that I was in, the depression that I was in. And I found my inspiration in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So Feed My Tribe is that. It's literally myself healing through food. It's myself expressing my love for food through healing. So it's that. I think the biggest lesson that I learned is that you can get over any hurdle that you have in life through what you love. Right? Finding your passion. Failure is not the end of it, it's only the beginning. And that's what I learned throughout those years. That yes, my business closed, but it made room for other things in my life. And look at how Feed My Tribe is doing now. I would have never expected it to be like this.
All right, so before I let you go, it's Sunday. What are you making? The weather's... What kind of weather is that even?
Today it's a bit weird. It's very cold outside actually. So we're either making a no wine oxtail.
Okay.
Or we're making jollof rice, nice spicy Nigerian rice, or something from the cookbook that we could make that my husband loves, which is mautwana, or pork trotters, which he loves. So we're making one of those, something nice and hearty.
What do your kids really like in the book? What is their favorite recipe?
My kids are very bougie. I don't know what's wrong with those kids. My kids love... so I've got a recipe in there for them, which is a seafood mussel pot.
Okay, I can live. They can come live with me.
They can make seafood
pot. I'm coming.
And they love steaks. So my eldest son loves steaks. Mommy can have a steak. So that's his thing.
All right. Mmule, congratulations on the book. Thank you so much for coming through this Sunday. Mmule Setati speaking to us about her latest book. It's titled Feed the Tribe, and it's got all kinds of recipes. If you don't like the kitchen, you can learn from this one, I promise you. The recipes look delicious. All right. She was talking to us about her culinary journey and a recent cookbook that is out in stores.